As you interact with other individuals, whether it's inside your family or in your social circles, or whether it's in organizations or work, how much effort do you put into knowing other individuals well and learning how they think and feel and reason so that you can understand them from their vantage point? If that's something you put a lot of priority to, then you understand and know the essence of empathy. Now, let's keep in mind that narcissists are highly self-impressed individuals. They're all about protecting themselves. In their mind, it's like, I don't really feel the need to know you because, well, the only person I care most about is, well, me. I care about what I feel and what I want and what my ideas and good notions are. And I don't need a whole lot of input from you. So they don't really give a whole lot of emphasis to the notion of empathy. But let's understand that empathy is what I refer to as relationship glue. If we're going to move forward and have a relationship where it's meaningful and it gives us a real sense of gratification, then empathy is a primary characteristic that needs to be there. And so I want us to talk about what empathy is, and I have 7 characteristics here that go into the making of it, and I want to see how this can be something that you can commit yourself to, even as the narcissist tends to minimize this. So let's get right into it. When we talk about a person who is an empathizer, number one, we want to see that that's an individual who is humble enough to know that there's more than one person in the equation who matters. When we talk about relationship, by definition, relationship means there's more than just me here. And so the empathizer is someone that says, I know that I have preferences or interpretations or plans, but I also need to make room for yours. What do you think? And what do you feel? And what's going on over on the inside of you? And so even as that individual has their goals and their preferences, there's always the notion that says, I'm one of many, let me keep that in mind. Which then leads to point number 2 that's a part of empathy, and that is there's an active curiosity about other individuals. You know, what's going on inside of you? What is it that makes you feel the way that you feel? Or you have perceptions that don't match with my perceptions. How did you arrive at that? And when we're asking those kind of questions, we're not doing it for the purpose of gathering data against you so that we can then come and use it against you. It's like, no, I have a curiosity about you because if you're thinking or feeling or perceiving differently from me, then I need to be aware of that so that we can learn how to blend better. I've got mine, but you have yours. Let's see if there's some sort of happy middle ground that we can have. That's how empathizers think. Or a third part of empathy, and this is a big one. People with strong empathy think with descriptions in mind rather than judgments. Now, let me give you a real simple illustration. Let's suppose that a child brings you a picture and you look at the picture and say, you did real good. Okay, in a very simple way, that's a form of a judgment. Or the child brings a picture to you and you can say, hey, it looks like you have a house there out in the meadow and there's a tree off to the side. Looks like it's an apple tree and the house has some smoke coming out of the chimney. This looks like a very peaceful place that you've drawn. Okay, now what you're doing is you're seeing what's on the paper and you're describing what you see as opposed to simply saying you did good. Okay, let's take that same kind of thought and then apply it towards much broader kinds of things. You may have that adult in front of you and they're talking about something that's been happening in their world, and you can say, well, I think you handled that right, or this was good, or this was bad. And so we can pronounce judgments, and it's such an easy thing for us to do. Or we can talk descriptively. You know, the empathizer, when you say something, and let's say they're talking about a frustration that they had at work, and rather than saying, well, that wasn't the right way to do it, here's what you need to do instead, and they should have done this and you should have done that. That's the judgmental way of thinking. The empathizer can say, I can tell that disappointed you. Or I know that as you're talking, you had an emphasis over here and that person had an emphasis over there. It seems as though that was just one of those things that made you think this is just not going well. Can you think that way? And it requires a certain amount of creativity, doesn't it? It means that you slow down asking yourself what's really going on as this individual is talking with me about whatever their topic is. Descriptive thinking versus judgmental thinking. Now, a fourth characteristic that's a part of empathy is you don't feel a particular need to control other individuals, how they think or how they feel. Now, I think it's fine for you to have good opinions or even strong opinions about what your perceptions are. But if someone comes along and says, I totally disagree with you, the empathizer can say, that doesn't surprise me. Help me know what it is that you disagree about. Let's talk about it. And that's a very non-controlling style of engaging. The narcissist, when they find out that somebody's disagreeing, it's like, okay, how do I get them inside my groove? I have an agenda and this is not on the agenda. And so they go into high bossy mode or critical mode, things like that. Empathizers don't feel the need to control other individuals. A fifth part of empathy is that there's enough inner calm or peace that leads the way, so it's the calmness that becomes the defining feature of their influence. You know, many times people think the best way to influence folks is to tell them what to do, tell them how they're supposed to think. When in fact, one of the ways to be influential is to be the kind of person that says, when you talk with me, I bring a peace, I bring a calmness, I bring a genteelness to the equation. I really like knowing things. And people can be disarmed by that. Now, I know that if you're in the presence of a narcissist, they don't really care about that. But I'm hoping that in general, as you deal with the public, that you can honestly say, you know, I'm at peace with who I am, such that I can focus on more than just what I want in the moment. When you get to know me, you're going to know that there's an inner calmness that is part of my equation. A sixth characteristic that's part of empathy is that relationship vulnerability is preferred. Now, I know many of you will say, well, I don't want to be vulnerable with a narcissist because as soon as I'm that way, then they're just going to stomp all over it. Okay, I get that. There's some people that you can be vulnerable with and some people as wise as not to be. But as a general rule, there's a notion that says, I really like knowing the more personal details about who you are. And I'm willing to share the personal details about who I am. I want to know what's good about you and I want to know what's bad about you. In doing so, then we can know each other in a much more honest kind of way. Keeping in mind that narcissism is all about image control and crafting that kind of persona that makes them look better than what they really are. And then we can say number 7, empathy is driven by a desire to attach. You know, people are more than just a deal to have or a transaction. But people are folks that you want to engage with because, well, it's all about having love and goodness and connection so that we can come back and feel like there's someone in my world who knows me and gets me. I like being with you. So when you empathize, you understand that people experience the world differently and you feel no particular need to fit others into your mold. Now, compare this with the narcissist. When differences or feelings or perceptions come up between you and that narcissist and you're not on the same page, instead of them going to empathy, that narcissist is going to shame you for being separate. The narcissist will apply all or nothing, black or white kind of thinking onto you. You're either with me or you're against me. The narcissist will go immediately into a critical mindset. The narcissist becomes unnecessarily adversarial. Hey, I'm not your enemy. Oh, yes, you are. That's the way they think. The narcissist is going to act and speak dismissively. The narcissist is going to use your words that you speak to prove how unfit you are. If you say, I just feel so frustrated that such and such happened, they'll say something like, yeah, you're always in a bad mood, aren't you? That's how they think. The narcissist is going to constantly be looking for loopholes in your logic. The narcissist can pester you with cornering questions. Well, why did you do that in the first place? The narcissist can walk away in disgust. The narcissist will deem you as irrational. We have the person who gives the emphasis to empathy and all of that relationship glue that implies. And then we have the narcissist that says, no, I'm turning my engagement style into a posturing for position, and I'm going to be superior. So guess where that leaves you? So the narcissist, by using a lack of empathy, is indeed saying, my ways are preferable to yours. There's no need for me to factor in to our engagement. I was going to say relationship, but our engagement. There's no need for me to factor in anything about you. So let's remember that when we're in relationship, ideally, we're not looking for an adversarial advantage. In healthy relationships, we're looking to bridge or build bridges from one person's heart to the other person's heart. And when we're talking about narcissism, we're talking about individuals who are clueless when it comes to the ingredient of empathy. It's kind of sad, isn't it? I do hope that these kind of discussions spur you to good thinking so that you can understand other individuals and then, like I say, grow within yourself. If you'd like, I'd like for you to go beneath the video here and hit that subscribe button so we can keep feeding more videos to you so that you can continue in your growth mode. Also beneath the video, we have links to an email list that we have so that you can get bonus videos and articles and other kind of promotions. If you're in need for online counseling, I know some of you don't have immediate availability to counseling. We have a link for that so that you can engage with individuals who might help you sift through some personal issues that you'd like to talk about. I know these videos can spur some of that. I also have links to my books, some online workshops, and if you find those to be helpful, I would encourage you to avail yourself to that. No, I really mean this when I say it. I am so honored that you would allow me to be a part of your journey, and I take my role in this seriously. All of that having been said, I shall see you next time.